Hello everyone, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Sincerely hope everybody is doing amazingly well today. And if not, we're definitely here for some support and extra love for you today, whatever it is that you need. So what we will be doing today, we are going to be doing our weekly update. So that's going to be May 3rd to May 8th. But this is going to be an important month. So I thought what we would do at the beginning is give you a rundown of the themes to expect in the month of May. And then for each pile, we'll give you more individualized messages specific to May 3rd to May 8th. How does that sound? Hopefully that sounds good for you. And of course, if you are brand new here, welcome. And for those of you who are returning to, absolutely welcome, welcome. I got so into, I'm very excited about these themes that are coming up because we just had Pluto go retrograde, so there's a lot of moving in and figuring stuff out. It's a very powerful month, so I'm really excited for this reading to get you some information today. So as always, we have 3 piles, and I thought we would go with the theme aspect of what we're doing. So this is a magnifying glass. The idea is, of course, that you're in a position to look closer and do much more integrated healing in the month of May. And then the journey aspect of what you'll be doing, the journey icon here for pile 2, and we've even got these in there, which I think are super cute. So it could mean a literal journey, it could mean moving on. We'll see when we get into the piles. And of course, we've got the butterfly transformation. So those are your 3 piles. And as always, take as much time as you need. If you need to go ahead and pause the video, do that. We also have our magic candle here, which we have at every single, well, for quite a while now, if you've been following me for a little while, we have the magic oil. So that's for integration and healing and even activation. You can use these beautiful readings any way you really want. So if there's anything that you want to, or anyone, or anything that you're looking to let go of, you can release into the flame or bring in abundance and manifestation, whatever you want to use that for. But that's extra energy. It's got magic oil and Reiki too. So that's a little extra vavum for you. So yeah, go ahead and take as much time as you need. The more you are in the present moment, the more aligned with you are with your own personal intuition, the more these will make sense to you. So take as much time as you need. And as always, the timestamps will be down below. So I'm just going to take just a big breath here. Hold in for a couple of seconds and release. All right, we are ready to get your weekly update, but mainly disclose the themes and the rundown, the themes that are coming up for you, that will be coming up for you in the month of May. Very powerful month. Let's go ahead and move these aside just for now. So if you chose pile 1 and the magnifying glass in order to look closer, be in a position to look closer, again, these are your weekly updates. So it'll be May 3rd to May 8th. But we're going to be talking about the themes that are coming up for you in the whole month of May and what to expect. So a few things going on here. So let's see. Really want to be interested in the sort of the viewpoint of seeing everything. So let's just put all the cards out on the table. Oh, abundance. Beautiful. So these are your themes. Indigo children and crystal children, Archangel Metatron. Great one if you have been seeing 111 or 1111, that sequence of number. That particular sequence is usually, if not always, associated with Archangel Metatron. So that's an indication that he might be sending you a message, or there's more integration for you. You can work with him in the month of May. You have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. This also speaks to your inner child too. A lot of insular stuff going on in the month of May. A lot of inner child healing. So that's going on too. So abundance. So looking closely at what's going on in the month of May for you. These are your themes, and then we'll go into a little bit more um, whatever other messages we have for you. So, the main theme for now, for the month of May, pile one, is that yeah, you're being asked to really look at how to integrate your inner child, how to move that inner child energy into every aspect of your life, bringing in back that magic. Also, really reveling in and revering in the understanding that the inner child is not necessarily, I don't know if we can say it is the most beautiful part of you. We can just put it out there. The most beautiful part of you, but also working with the essence of the inner child, getting back that magic where you have this beautiful understanding where anything can happen at any time in a good way, right? So bringing in that energy back of that magical thinking whereby you expand your consciousness and you expand your understanding of what can happen, and moving into this new level of sort of faith and beauty and bringing in that abundance too. And also sort of play and having fun. These are your themes too, to bring in the idea of bringing in joy and bringing in play, to sort of level out some of the stuff that you've been going through in pile one. There's been a lot of, for a lot of you, there's been a sort of lot of heaviness, and for some of you, feeling lost. Want to remind you that it's feeling lost, you know, it can feel very disconcerting, and we're certainly sending you it's sort of a blanket of love and totally understanding where you feel and where you are, without a shadow of a doubt. Definitely feeling lost can just feel a little bit icky, a little bit yucky sometimes, because we feel as though we should know the move forward. We should at least have some sort of understanding and grounding in the present moment. But sometimes feeling lost is just recognizing that everything that we've gone through has been healed to a certain degree, and which is everything's sort of falling away. Now, for those of you who have been feeling this way, moving into May gives you sort of a new lease of life, where you get that sense of sort of the brand new aspect of, okay, this is brand new. What do I do now? And we want to urge you not necessarily to rush into any decisions, but to take your time about the energy that's in and around you and what energy that you want to follow. So we want to remind you with the inner child to really think and really sort of hone in on the sort of elemental energies of flitting from this, flitting from that, trying things on, having some fun, bringing back that joy, and really understanding that no matter what you choose, we really want you to look at this understanding, and we're going to put this in quote marks for real, failure. There is no failure. There's just a movement forward. The understanding that you have to have out all your ducks in a row before you move forward, or having a clear understanding of your future. It's okay not to have that. And sometimes it's going better for you not to have that, because sometimes we have a very clear idea of what we want to achieve, only realizing that, you know, our deepest part of our souls didn't really want that. It was just part of our ego, which is totally fine, that needed some kind of validation. And we've been working toward that. And then when you get there, there's this empty feeling. We're not saying that's going to happen to you, but you are being called back to your center and being asked to really open up in the month of May, and not necessarily make choices, but really review the choices that are there. And if you choose to pick, go with your intuition, baby steps, move forward, and know that it'll lead you to the next step. And if it leads you somewhere where you decide not to follow up with, that's totally fine. You're not wasting your time. The idea here for you, Pile One, is to really be expansive in the month of May and just allow in all versions of reality and just sort of try them all on with this joyful, beautiful, sort of more integrated view of the world. Now, you're the type of person, for the most part, that breaks things down, and when you heal, you do it properly. You go into every single crevice, move things up. Now, you'll be doing this in the month of May, but you'll be doing this in a much more light-hearted manner. Again, working more with the light, but not in a sort of like foo-foo way. This is going to be very deep, but it's just working from a different angle. That's all. Now, there's definitely abundance coming to you, and there's also the double eights here. So the sort of the sign of the affinity, but going upwards. And again, the chance really to work with your inner self, the chance to work with your inner love, the chance to work with your inner sense of joy. So let joy be your compass, completely and totally, like joy at the middle of your compass for pile one here, for your theme in May, and you literally cannot go wrong. And also we want to acknowledge that there's a collective theme that's going on too in the month of May, as Pluto has gone retrograde. It's this idea, and if you watched, I think it was I can't remember which pile, but it was definitely the reading before this one. It's one of the piles we talked about the ego and healing with the ego. And in that pile, we said something like we said something about like the ego works for you, right? So remember, the ego works for you, the ego works for your intuition. We're going to take that one step further in the month of May. And this is a chance for you to not fight with your ego, not to transcend the ego. That's pretty much impossible. I know there's a lot of that stuff in spirituality, which is, transcending the ego, move the ego out, defeat the ego. We want you to do the opposite in May, to have a very realistic outlook here. And this is the collective energy that's coming up in May. Make friends with your ego. Work with your ego. The ego actually has all of your lessons and everything that you need to know about yourself. It's not intrinsically evil by any stretch of the imagination. Yes, it's wired for survival, certainly, but your individual ego really holds the key to get to know it, to understand what it is, to really bring it in and integrate it. You have the chance to integrate on a really, really intricate level here in the month of May and find out those beautiful little secrets that the ego really wants to share with you once it's integrated. Now, that is a very powerful powerhouse for you in the month of May, making friends with your ego, integrating that ego, and working with that inner child, which will feel free, feel that freedom to integrate fully within the system and give you that sense of joy, right? So these are your themes for the month of May. And again, bringing in that abundance, really allowing yourself to flitter about and see what's out there. And we want to urge you not necessarily to make any huge decisions in May, but to try everything on. But at the same time, always, always, always say on this channel, go with your intuition. If your heart and your intuition is telling you to choose something, then absolutely please do this. Remember, these are general readings. But in general, really want to concentrate on integrating fully the ego, and then moving into this beautiful essence of joy with your inner child. So let's see what we have here for you too. Ooh, Ace of Swords and the Devil. Look at that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is really speaking directly towards, now this is moving into your weekly update from May 3rd to May 8th. So this is really about putting down the battle sword and working with your ego. Again, this is the theme throughout the month of May, but you really get the chance to do this May 3rd to May 8th. You really get the chance to look within on a deep level and go in and heal in a way that you've never done before, not with sort of battle attack mode with I'm going to defeat you, I'm going to do this, or even with this understanding of I'm going to heal. Just with this understanding of laying down the sword, not needing to attack, not needing to defend is the main thing for you, pile one, because there's an aspect of you, for some of you who are, real talk here, deathly afraid of your ego. And this is the reason why we all are to a certain degree, is that the ego does hold the key. It does hold the key to understanding a lot of why we react a certain way. And why we react a certain way is because we've been in survival mode and we've had to react that way. So it's really it's totally understandable that we sort of attack the ego, or we drive the ego out, or we want to work with the ego in the very same way that we believe that the ego is working with us. And actually what you get to do is you get to break this down, and you get to work with the ego head on, particularly in the first week of May. Now, this stuff may have already been coming up for you. It's not something that you're going to wake up on Monday, 3rd of May, all of a sudden and go, all right, ego, I can feel you, let's go. This is something that you've been edging up to, working with your shadow self, your shadow side, and the last part of it is the ego and how to work in and around it. Now, most of you have been working with your ego one way or another, really viewing objectively, sort of from the outside, how it works and how it's been working with you and how it really affects your behavior. So this is an extremely powerful month for you, Pile 1, to be able to go in and actually work with your ego and seeing it as an ally. Not only that, but the key to truth. It's not evil. Not at all. And in fact, even at its worst, where it's been integrated in a way where your personality, it's caused some shame in your personality, or I wish I didn't do this, or I wish I didn't say this. And you know that the ego's come in and done that and sort of controlled that situation. Even in those situations, you'll be able to go back and say, I totally understand why you did that. So this is a matter of getting to the truth of who you are, but it's also a way of you not having to defend anymore, a way of you seeing that part of yourself. It really opens up this angle of healing that you've never had before, just by switching your perception of the ego. Very powerful month. Any addictions, anything that you had, or any addiction that you had, particularly for some of you here, again, general reading, but this should apply to most of you. The sort of loop of negative thought patterns, and what it does specifically for you, Pile 1, is that it tells you that you're not good enough, and it tells you that you won't get what you want. And here's the reason why. That's attached directly to your ego, but your ego is trying to protect you, because when you were younger, you were taught that there was only a certain amount that you could achieve, and all it's doing is redirecting what you already learned and keeping you safe. Now, you'll be able to really work with this one-on-one, especially in the first week, but as a theme in general over the month of May, very powerful, where you get to break down this loop of negative thought patterns that's trying to keep you safe, work directly with your ego and undo that. And coming back into what we said before, with the general theme too of integrating the inner child at all levels now becomes extremely powerful. Because what happens when you make friends with your ego, you unlock that part of you and see that there's no shame there. You totally understand where they're coming from, and you totally understand why you'd want to be protected, working with that and giving room to this new understanding of this joy and leveling up of this integration of your inner child, which is very accepting and full of expansion. So what happens then? You get to stop. At its core, you get to work and integrate and then release these negative thought patterns, which are very important for you to come in, because a lot of you have worked on inner child stuff. It's not that you haven't, and your inner child is there, and you're very much in touch with the inner child, but not fully integrated to the point where you have this magical mindset all the time. It comes in and out. You have the chance to really put in and integrate this magical way of seeing the world all the way through, particularly in the first week, but all the way through the month of May, because you've worked with your ego. Your ego will always come in and butt in when it's not been worked at, because what it wants to do primarily is get your attention, right? It wants to get your attention. It wants to be seen. It wants to be integrated. It doesn't want to be fought. The more you fight it, the more it fights back. So this is a new way, and transcending it is just, it's futile. We're here to be human. There's a lot of this stuff, transcended, become one with the universe. You become one with the universe when you become one with every aspect of who you are, and the ego is a large part of you, and it's kept you alive. So we can have faith and beauty and work with our ego by integrating it and become friends with it. It really does hold the key. It holds the key to who you really are. It holds the key to all of your patterns. Work with it. Don't work against it. This is the time for you to do that. This is the last piece of the puzzle here. Then you can integrate your beautiful inner child, and then you have that magical outlook. And that magical outlook, because you've worked with your ego, can be integrated fully and can stay, instead of like 5 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, back forwards. Some of you feel as though you probably have whiplash. This is the chance. This is the month of May, the chance to change that. All right. So let's get you a little bit more information, but these are your themes and what's going on, which is very, very exciting, very transformative, very exciting time for you. And again, you've been working towards this. So this information is ready for you to hear. You're absolutely ready. You've worked with the ego in every other way you possibly could. So you are ready for this. Don't think for a second that you're not. So let's see what we have for you here. The frog, house cleaning, releasing emotional baggage. Absolutely. As within, also on the exterior too. So whatever you feel you need to do, for some of you, you'll definitely be releasing emotional baggage. Now there's a very specific energy of the emotional baggage, not just emotions, but baggage, something that's been holding you down, things that have been holding you down. And it's not going to be like, don't think for a second you're going down the rabbit hole of doing all of this. These are aha moments. This is just being open to this energy and understanding and tweaking your perception, because you're working with your ego differently and going, oh, I see this clearly now. I get it. Thank you for that information. You know, if you need to do that on the external, clearing out your house, clearing out old stuff that no longer suits where you are right now, no longer needing to hold on to it. Anything that represents a part of your life that no longer works for you, but could be useful for somebody else. We're looking after the planet here. So, you know, hopefully not putting anything into a landfill as much as I can. That's my own personal thing. I shouldn't have brought that in there, but I'm obsessed with this right now, not putting anything into a landfill, but looking after our beautiful planet here. But if somebody else can benefit from this, even if it's beautiful, but it no longer represents where you are and it reminds you of the old, time to clear out. If you feel it's ready for you, this would be the time to do that. Anything that we do on the exterior will help the interior also. But don't feel for a second this is something that you need to do. If this is something, for some of you, you've already been on it. You're like, yeah, I already did that. That's great. And for some of you, it's like, I'm not ready to do that, or I don't want to do that, don't have the energy for it. Don't. These are just suggestions that can help you if your energy is moving in that direction already. Let's also get you a little bit of unicorn magic. We have our unicorn here with us. Well, we always have a unicorn here with us. We're a unicorn like tarot, but a visual unicorn, as it will, for some extra love and energy, and of course to appeal to your beautiful inner child and also your ego too. You know, ego wants to have fun. You know, doesn't want to feel as though it's always being thought of as the devil. You know, we can integrate that little sucker and get it working with us, right? So let's see what we have here. Break your routine. Absolutely. I just want to make sure that you can see this. Break your routine without a shadow of a doubt. This is talking again about the switch in perception. Sometimes what we need to really bring home the understanding of our true journey is just a really tweak in perception. We're really told sometimes, or we get this understanding in spirituality, you know, which I do agree with and I don't agree with. Like with everything in spirituality, I take everything with a grain of salt and I kind of put my own thing on it, because some of it's kind of woo-woo and some of it doesn't really work. And, you know, but, you know, sometimes we get the impression that, you know, we do need to dig deep. We do need to do the work, but and it is hard work. I'm not going to pretend that it's all sunshine and happy, and that's not true at all. I would be doing you a disservice if I gave you that. And those of you who do the work already know this. But sometimes we feel as though on the other end of this, that everything, the excavation going in, has to be really tough, take months off work. It's going to, you know, you got to build yourself up afterwards and this, that, and the other. You've already done that part of you. Not all of the spiritual journey needs to be that way. Not not all of it does, and it won't be for you in at this stage. You've done a lot of that grunt work. So we want to remind you that all it takes sometimes is a shift in perception, where it's like, oh, I get it. I should be working like this, or not should be. I don't even like that, because there's many different ways to do things. Or, just this aha moment where everything kind of moves together, and again, working with the ego differently and just seeing it differently, and you wake up differently, and you've got that piece of the puzzle. We want you to understand that all it needs is this, just a little break in your routine. You don't need to go down that rabbit hole and take a month off work in May and really get in there and do this. This is going to be light, joyful, but also at the same time, paradoxically, extremely deep work, where you make friends with that darkest place of you that's contained right now by the ego. And just that shift in perspective gives you that energy, gives you that perspective to be able to do that. Let's do one more for you here. A little bit more magic here. Ah, love it. Transform your life. Absolutely. This is the chance for you to do this. Again, you've done all that grunt work. Transform your life to be able to see differently, to enlighten up, as I like to say. Enlighten up. Again, going with the joy, going with the beauty, lightheartedness here. Even the work that you do with your ego can be a lot lighter than you've done before. Again, when you're not trying to defeat it, and you don't have that energy of attack or needing to defend, and you're bringing in and embracing, there's a completely different energy around your transformation, completely different. So enlighten up, especially in the first week while this will be coming in. But again, this is a theme for you throughout the month of May. And again, throughout the month of May, enjoy all the opportunities that are coming in. Don't feel as though you necessarily have to make a decision, but try absolutely everything on. Have fun flitting around. Have fun figuring out certain things. Try on new looks. Change things up. Dye your hair if you want to. Buy that red lipstick, whether you are male, female, or however you identify. Do anything you want, something out of the ordinary. Go try on absolutely everything. And if you feel like you want to clear out on the physical level too, absolutely do that. That could even mean a cleanse, whatever you want. I'm not a huge believer in cleanses for me, but if they work for you, go be you. That's your thing. Again, it's all about what works for you. This is all individual, but at the same time, sort of the collective at the same time. So let's get you one more. So this is a really fun month. Get out there and have some fun. I know with everything going on, people are getting out there a little bit more, and just get out there in the sun and the beauty, depending on where you live in the earth. It's not spring everywhere in the world, but wherever you can, get in touch with that nature. Go hug a tree. Go be that beautiful fairy. Again, just let your inner child and let your ego just integrate fully, and let that inner child guide your way. You might have these beautiful journeys in May that just go off in several different directions. Again, there's no failure. Don't worry about it amounting to anything. That's the ego talking. All experience for you this month is going to lead you to something wonderful, regardless of what it is. You don't have to have something physically to show for it. It could be a beautiful sunshine day by the lake that you decide to take off and do. Whimsical is your word for the month of May. Whimsical, your way forward. So let's see what we have here. Safety. Don't go too proud to go back to shore. Okay. Let's see. That's the way that you were before. I'm not feeling that way for you. You're coming out of that now. That's the ego essence. Again, we want to remind you that they just wanted to keep you safe. That's your ego essence. That's fine. That's fine. This is about expansion. So let's see what else. That's ego before, ego after. Reflect. Peer into the endless ocean and see what peers back. Absolutely what we just said. Ego before, ego as you work with it. So wanting to be safe. And again, the ego wanting to keep you safe is because it wasn't fully integrated yet. Here you get to reflect, peer into the endless ocean and see what peers back. Could not have put it more perfectly for the theme for you in May. So go out there, have some fun, work with your beautiful ego. Again, not trying to transcend it, get rid of it, fight it, or anything else like that, just bring it in for integration. It holds the key. It's got the key to what you need right now, and it's the next step for moving in with your beautiful, joyous life and integrating that amazing inner child that you have and having that magical life. Again, try everything on. It's a time for reflection. If something does move into your life and you feel like, you know what, I do want to go for it, absolutely do it. We're not saying holding back. It's time for listening to your intuition, cleansing out on the inner and outer if you feel like it, and just enjoying the beauty that is the earth and enjoying this new way of seeing the world. Your energy and your outlook will shift. This is a time for transformation for sure. So have an amazing, amazing week. And of course, an amazing month of May, but we'll be there for the month of May, of course. But have an amazing, amazing week. Incredible to be here. So honored to be here, to be able to work with your guides today and getting you this information. So go be you. Go do that integration and have some fun in the sun. Until we meet again, Pal One, stay safe and sane. Bye-bye now. Okay, you gorgeous Pal Tours. If you were attracted to the sort of journey, your little suitcase here, then this is, you got, what is it, perfume, and oh my goodness, this is so cute. Oh, it's actually a proper little mirror. I have a friend that sends me these things, so I don't always look that closely, but I always appreciate all the beautiful things she sends me. So there you go. This is also reflective of you. Inner work. This is part of the theme of Pile. Well, it's the theme of the collective, but definitely for Pile 1 and your sense of journey. Don't forget, we have our magic candle here. So we are doing a weekly update, May 3rd and May 8th, but we're really concentrating on the themes and the rundown, what to expect for the entire month of May, because we have Mercury in retrograde. I'm sorry, we don't have Mercury in retrograde. Scratch that. We have Pluto in retrograde coming in. Let's not bring in Mercury in retrograde just yet. And this is a very important time for going within and really refiguring some aspects of yourself. So it's going to be a very powerful month. So we're going to start with these, move on to this, but let's get a rundown of the themes to expect for your month of May. Forgiveness and gifts from God, Archangel Sandalphon. We angels bring you gifts from your creator. Open your arms to release them, to forgive them. I'm sorry. Open your arms to receive them. So yeah, forgive them. Okay, so a few different things going on as we were channeling there. So the essence of forgiveness is coming in for you. Obviously, it came in several different ways here. Pile 2. Just this forgiveness, this essence of forgiveness. And this is a very, very interesting and very powerful moment for you, because there were certain situations in your life, Pile 2, and we totally understand. You know, we're not all love and light here on Unicorn Light Tarot, believe it or not. You know, unicorns are also very fierce, autonomous beings. They are love and light, absolutely, but they're autonomous beings. And, you know, a lot of you have been through hell and back, and we don't want to say that you get through it with a smile and everything's going to be fine and just go out there and, you know, forgive them, forgive this. No, absolutely not. I mean, you have the right to stand in your own ground and say, you know, this was not okay, this happened to me. If you ever get to the level of healing where you want to forgive them, that will be because you'll be free from that energy. But it's not necessary for full healing to be able to do that. It's okay for you, and it's perfectly reasonable. And I just think we need to share this more in the spiritual community, for other people to pull back your energy and give back the energy that was given to you and say, you be responsible for your own energy. You have no right to have treated me like that. I'm pulling my energy out of this and I'm going to heal in my own way. But this is something that you'll be doing in a very powerful level, Pile 2, in the month of May. This is coming to you now as you go within, as you figure out what really needs to be the left that needs to be healed. And, you know, we don't want you to get into this trap. I'm not even crazy about the word healing, because the understanding of the word healing is that there's something wrong, that you're not already whole. So we want to be clear before we move on. That's not what we're saying. You're perfect exactly the way that you are, but you're also conscious that there's certain sort of spots within your alchemy there. That's pulling back your power. You can almost feel it as you move forward. You can feel how powerful you are, and then something pulls you back a little bit from really showing that power. And we want to let you know that that is you pulling yourself back. That's part of your ego. Now, this came up in pile 1, and it will come up in pile 3, because there's something that's going on here that's really, really important, and it could give you the last piece of the puzzle, and you're able to access it in the month of May. So with true healing, we're just going to use that healing. I've already gone into, just for the sake of clarity, we're just going to use the word healing, even though I'm not crazy about the word, but we've already explained why, but you understand. So with the ego, there's a lot of talk in the spiritual community about transcending it. And even as I talked before I can't remember again which pile, I mentioned this in pile 1, but our reading before this one, it's about, speaking to your ego and reminding your ego that the ego works for you. We want to take that one step further, because we'll be able to do that in the month of May, this very powerful month for understanding that there's true integration happening with your ego should you choose to go down that road if you want to. It's open to you, which means that you're not fighting with your ego. You're not trying to transcend it, which actually just means that you're trying to control it, right? So it's ego fighting ego. That's why transcendence doesn't work with the ego. It's not going to work. You're here to be human. You need your ego. It's okay to have your ego. You don't need to be above it. The minute you think you're above it, the minute you think you're above other people, which means that you've fallen into the trap of the ego. So here, in this month, you get to work and integrate with your ego. And in that, it's been given this gift to you, this beautiful gift of being able to see aspects of personal aspects where you held yourself back, where there was no forgiveness. And in that forgiving, you get to really transform your relationship with your own power. Now, we want to be really clear, pal, too. You're extremely powerful. You came in as an alchemist. You know what you're doing. But for most of you, you feel as though that power, you back off when you get to that power. When you know you can have something, it's almost like you pull yourself back. Now, some of you may be afraid of success. You're not afraid of failure at all, because experience is experience. You don't want to keep going over the same kind of aspects of life and reliving the same information and go, because nobody likes to waste their time. You can definitely be accused of that one way or another, and I'm with you 100% there. But you absolutely understand that there's no real failure at its core, but you are a little bit afraid of success, and you do hold your power back. Now you have the chance to work with your power in a really, really, really beautiful way by making friends and integrating your ego, because your ego can help you here. Your ego is your friend. Now, part of this is that there's aspects of your personality or aspects of things that you've done in the past that you need to forgive yourself for. Forgive yourself for. If you're not ready to forgive the other person that was involved, we absolutely 150% stand by that, because that is up to you whenever you want to do. And if you want to do that, that's great too. But it is not necessary for you to have to forgive the other person at this point for you to get the freedom and work with your ego in this way. It's great if you want to, but it's not necessary to move forward. Again, this is about you reclaiming your energy and saying, I'm not taking on that energy anymore. For you, you're very sensitive, pal, too. You've got a lot of empathic abilities, which makes you an amazing alchemist, but it's really important for you to stand your ground. And if somebody gives you, for want of a better word, excuse my French, shit, then you don't have to go at them, but you can send that energy back if you want to. And getting back into that understanding of protecting and having those boundaries for now while you go through this May. This May is coming up with this understanding of working with the ego, and again working with the essence of forgiveness. Now, what happens when you work with the essence of forgiveness and you use your integrated ego as a roadmap to go to all of these parts of yourself that you can now go in and forgive yourself for, right? Because you didn't know, because your ego was working in a certain way, and the ego will show you why it did that, why I had to do that, why I felt like I needed to protect you. Let it show you everything. Then you can forgive yourself really easily for that, and really easily, because none of this you don't need to hold on to it. But in that vein, in the way of working with your ego in that way, you get to fully experience your beautiful power. And this is the most important part of May for you. You get to stop blocking all of this beauty that's trying to come in and help you, because that's what you're doing out of protection. So you can have your full energy, you can have your full power. You'll know when to put up those boundaries and say, I'm not taking that energy, take it back. And you'll know when to be completely open, or you'll be completely open all the time, but know how to have those boundaries. Right now, those boundaries are coming up to protect you a little bit, and that's what the ego's doing. But it's also blocking at the same time, and then you have this forgiveness stuff going on. So when you go in and you work with your ego, you'll, of course, I'm going to forgive myself. I totally understand that. Why didn't I 10 years ago? Don't go down that road, though. Why didn't I do this before? This is energy, new energy, collective energy that's coming in. That's really letting us see something from a really brand new point of view with the ego. But, you know, this is part of the collective energy that we're working on, but you would not have been able to get to this point if you had not done all this gracious work going all the way through. So don't you dare be hard on yourself, because you can really do that very quickly. That's another point of working with your ego. Again, not transcending the ego, not trying to fight the ego. And even when I said before in the last thing, you're working for me, it's an essence of it, but we're not even taking that energy anymore. We're taking that energy and moving it 1,000,000 times forward and saying, how can I work with you? What do you need to show me? So these are your specific themes for you, Pile 2. Let's see what we have in the month of May. Ooh, the moon and the 8 of Swords here. Absolutely gorgeous. So you've got a lot of this beautiful energy. You've got a lot of the themes of going deep, but also connecting at the same time. Sometimes when we go deep, it can be a little bit intimidating, because there's so much to work on. There's so much that's coming up. And especially for you, because you're so sensitive and you feel everything, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Some of you could, you know, get overwhelmed with your emotions, and some of you could have been quite afraid of your emotions because they're so powerful. This is a way for you to really go in with your psyche and work with your ego. Once you work with your ego, all of the stuff that comes up won't feel that overwhelming anymore, and you'll really be able to gauge your superpower as an alchemist and as an empath. Now, a lot of people, you know, you'll see so many videos on this, you know, on YouTube, you know, your empaths are superpowers, this, that, and the other. And that's wonderful. And it's absolutely true. You're absolutely a superpower here with your empathic ability. But unless you're physically shown how that works, you totally understand that an aspect of you does have that superpower. But unless you can integrate that knowledge, and you know for yourself, you could still be very overwhelmed. You know, somebody can tell you X, Y, and Z, go into, you know, protect your energy, do this, and all these great things. And it's all wonderful advice. But unless you click into that knowledge and really understand your emotion on a very personal level, and each one of you will do it very differently, because we're all very unique and all exactly one at the same time. That's the paradoxical beauty of being on this planet Earth, right? We're all exactly the same and reflect each other, but we all have these really unique aspects to our personality that we bring in that no one else can. You know, that's why we grieve each other when we leave. It's that imprint of that one person that will never, ever, ever exist again. That's why we hold our hearts heavy when we have grief, and we have every right to, because that person touches, because there's no one else that can do that, not in that way. And that's precious and that's beautiful. But here you have this beautiful essence of who you are, right? And you get to see it. You get to see these emotions as they work, and you get to pull them out at their core, and you get to work with your ego and see why the ego brought up these emotions. And it, you know, it doesn't stop anymore. There's nothing protecting. Whereas the ego would protect you from feeling things before, but you could always feel them at its core, sort of brewing. And then you know, and that's why you probably were afraid of, you know, your emotions, of being uncomfortable with them and not really seeing them as a superpower, because they always felt very intense right underneath, kind of at surface level, right? You get to actually dive deep and really see what they are. And when you get to the roots of them, you see that they have a beginning, they have a middle, they have an end. All emotions do. And when you get to see the sort of totality of them, they're not overwhelming anymore. So this is what's coming in, especially May 3rd, May 8th. Now, you've been leading up to this for a little while. So if this is resonating with you, you should be like, yep, I'm already there. I'm already there. It's not going to come in like we said in pile 1. It's not going to come in bright and early 9 a.m. May 3rd and say, all right, let's do this, you know. So these are energies that you're already working with, and this is all about unblocking and working with the darkness, but in a very powerful, magical way. Working with moon energy. What is hidden will be revealed, but it will be revealed in a way that can be integrated, so you can fully move on and stop blocking yourself from all these beautiful things that are trying to come in for you. Pile 2, my goodness, you are so powerful, and you have been planting these seeds of this beautiful things, and you know what it is. You know what it is that you want, and deeply, deeply rooted, you believe that you deserve it. You really do. You've been working on that, and it's worked. You believe that you deserve it, but you're frightened that you can get it. You're frightened of getting it. You're frightened of success, and part of that is because you're frightened of how overwhelming it will feel, because you still haven't acclimated to how powerful your emotions are. So this is you getting to the root of the emotions. This is you making friends with your ego. This is your ego going in and showing you what your emotions are and how the ego used the emotions, not against you, but to protect you. The ego is your friend. Again, no need to fight with it. Let it unlock, as we said in pile 1, let it unlock the mysteries and the secret. Work with all of your secrets with your ego in a brand new way in March. March is already gone. In May. And it will show you what areas of your life that you need to forgive yourself for. And again, when we say forgive, it's not even forgiveness. There was nothing to forgive. And that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to see. None of this is like really deep excavating. Don't go down the rabbit hole. This is definitely just the next step in moving into full integration with yourself. Again, being able to see all the old wounds come up and not be overwhelmed by them. This is a very powerful month for you to really understand where the protection came from, how your ego worked, how powerful it is, and how much of an ally it can be moving forward. And work with your guides. Your guides are such powerful guides. They want to give you everything that you want, and you're blocking them. And that's fine. Again, perfectly natural that you would block them. This is part of what needs to be sorted out before the blocking. And then once that's unblocked, you know, hello, Kitty. I don't even know where that came from, but hello, Kitty. You're there. Anything is available to you to move spherically in any way you see fit. Again, you have been planting these seeds. So whatever it is that you want will come back to you. You will not be overwhelmed. You will be very successful at what you do. You don't have to worry. Any of those doubts are just tied in with the ego trying to protect you from everything that you want. Work with the ego, not against it in any way. Let's get you a little bit more information here from Avalon. And let's see what we have here for you. Death. Now, don't get freaked out. This is just, I mean, most of you who know about tarot are not fearful of death, the death card. And actually, I believe we had the devil card in pile 1. So these things are going to come up because it's to do with the ego. That's the theme. But this is just letting you know, this is a very powerful card, letting you know without a shadow of a doubt that this is a real understanding of who you are. This is a chance to physically move forward. We are always improving. We are always moving forward should we want to. We're always going to be learning. We're always going to be flexible. We're always going to be reaffirming and letting go of this and moving on from that. This is not a done deal. All right. I've moved into this way of being, I'm set, I don't need to do any more work. No, we're not saying that you'll never need to do any more work, but this is significant, pile 2. Working with your ego in this way, it's a form of death for it. But again, we don't want you in line with the idea that you need to kill it and transcend it. Quite the opposite, need to integrate it. But this is a sign without a shadow of a doubt that this is a very powerful month for you to move forward in the healing category in a way that you were in a brand new way that you've never been able to do before. So, and everything that you've been working on is inching you toward this. I want to see what's in the end. Yeah, communication, just at the bottom here. Communication coming in. Communication with all aspects of yourself. And again, communication with your guides. They're there to help you. They're literally knocking on that door going, hello. They want to give you. They want to give you what you have been working behind closed doors very carefully and very diligently on. And you've been holding yourself back for a reason too. There's an aspect of it that's divine timing. So for those of you who have been beating yourself up about why things take so long, don't. This is divine timing for you. This is perfect timing. And when it comes in, it will come in thick and fast. And it's not going to be trickling in. In many ways, there's, you like to move quite slowly, but there's a part of your personality that really can balance a lot coming in. So when it does, it will all come in. It's not going to be trickling in. This is a 180 for you in the month of May. This is a very powerful month for you, starting on May 3rd to May 8th. So all these themes will be coming up for you. So working specifically with the ego in this way, the first week, May 3rd to May 8th, will set up this really dynamic understanding of how you can move through the month. So let's see. We got some more unicorn magic for you. Why not? Let's get you some more information here. But yeah, some opportunities come up for you, especially mid-month to the last quarter of the month here. Working with the egos again. Once these, for want of a better word, again, these barriers, just to make it clear, once these barriers are lifted as you start working with your ego in this way, again, the universe will start delivering with all the energy that you've been putting out there. Absolutely. So big opportunities could be coming in for you, probably mid to the latter part of May, but not necessarily. It could be the first day. Who knows? Sex magic, love, sex, and magic. Absolutely. Bringing your magic back into also that chakra too, the first, second, and third chakra. Second and third chakra, your creative chakra, womb chakra, regardless of what gender you are, or whether you even believe in gender. Because, does it exist? That's probably another reading for that, but we won't go down that right now. But coming back into your center self, the second and third chakra that you'll be working on, your sacral chakra, too, with creativity and power, coming back to reclaim your sexuality, being ready for a partner or taking your partnership to the next level if you're already in a committed relationship, or not even in a committed relationship, just having fun with somebody, which is absolutely wonderful. Learn a lot about yourself that way too, You can be committed to not being committed, right? I certainly have been before, and it's been wonderful. So it's all coming back to self-love, but it's also the second and third chakra coming together. Those are your two chakras that will be clearing out so much and really get that beautiful understanding of what it is, which goes down into the first chakra, which really allows you, in a way, not allows you, it really creates this firm foundation for you, knowing who you are and working with your magic, moon magic. Some of you in May may be working with moon magic, and if your cycle is a little bit upheaval insofar as you become a night owl either recently or you become a night owl in the month of May, would not be surprised about that either. The ego will come and speak to you a lot clearer at night when your mind is like, it's not cluttered from the day. So this is the time for you to work with it if you want to. Not necessary though, because you can seek out the ego and work with it in any terms that you want to. But this is about a reclaiming of those chakras to your creativity, sexual chakra, getting out there and just reclaiming all of that, which you're free to do this month. So have fun, be safe, but have fun. Here we have deeper understanding and 1000, absolutely. Through this death card, we get the 1000, you get this deeper understanding. I just love this guy here. Look, we even got the moon in the corner, the crescent moon in the corner coming in. The deeper understanding of how everything makes you tick, gives you the ultimate beauty to be able to integrate. And again, remember, it's about integration of the ego, not trying to transcend it. The minute you transcend it, what you're doing is you're actually fighting with it. You're using ego against ego. You just cancel each other out. So working with it and just allowing it be open to what it wants to show you unlocks the key and brings you into this new massive opportunity. And again, with the forgiving, new realms of healing healing available to you. Again, we want to be very clear. It's not about healing the other person necessarily. Now, if you want to, we're not in control of anything that you do, and we would never want to be. If you want to go ahead and forgive everybody and you're at that stage, that's wonderful. We're not telling you not to. We're also letting you know, we should say, we're not telling you anything. We're also letting you know that it's not necessary as part of the healing process to forgive somebody who's still not responsible for their own energy. It's not. It's absolutely, you can heal perfectly without having to do that. People need to be responsible for their own energy. You don't need to take on that energy anymore. But should you want to forgive, that's fine. But this is about forgiving yourself. And again, as you dig deeper, you realize that there's really nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive, but you need to see and experience that yourself. That way your ego can show you how your emotions really work. You won't be overwhelmed by them anymore, and you will start to see yourself as a superhuman, superhero, and really get to appreciate your emotionality, which opens you up to these opportunities that are coming in, and you will not be afraid of success anymore. You will be able to maintain it. You will be able to keep it because you're brilliant at what you do. You won't be holding yourself back anymore. So let's get C melodies. Let's get you one last card. Very exciting month for you. It's going to be an exciting month for everybody, everywhere. But this is a very powerful month. This Pluto retrograde is actually a beautiful... Now, it had a bit of a rocky start. I'm not going to lie to you. Had a bit of a rocky start with things coming up and people losing the plot here and there. Totally understand. I was one of them too. But now it's really working in and getting settled, because it's going to be here, I think, till October 20th, 2021. Here for a good couple of months, all the way through the summer. But it got integrated pretty quickly and showed you what it needs to do. It's actually a slow-moving planet. So it's after the initial overwhelming aspect of it, you can work with this energy in a really beautiful sort of natural pace, not feel overwhelmed by it. But it's here to show you what needs to be integrated. So this is a very powerful time that Pluto, you could work with Pluto too. It's giving you the energy and the knowledge to know how to move forward. So let's see what we have for you here. Anchor. Keep yourself grounded. Absolutely. Now, as you work through and heal the second and third chakras, really reclaim that energy through creativity, your sexuality. Should you choose to use your sexuality, if it's something that you're not using, then that is absolutely your right. You can still claim it. And then through that, you get to go down and really anchor in. That's a lot of thing. A lot of you are very earthy, but not necessarily grounded. You feel very grounded one day and then uprooted the next day. This is a way that you can anchor yourself because you know who you are at every level now. Let's do one more for you here. Pile 2, just feeling one more for you. Dream. Follow your yearning for the deep blue sea. Absolutely. All of those who have been planting your beautiful plants, your journey here, moving forward, knowing that they've been knocking on the door. This is the way. Remember, with everything that you'll be working through, and we don't want you to be overwhelmed by it. Again, this is a new way of working. It's a lighter way of working. It's a more sort of a beautiful integrative working sense of self with your ego. So it's not going to be really feeling as though you're working through quicksand. But we want you to remind you that this is all for you to achieve the success that you want. Power is okay. You can use the power in a really beautiful way. It's okay to want power. It's okay to want success. In fact, we support that in every way, level, or form. That's absolutely wonderful. The more power and success that you have, the more help you can give others. Absolutely. That's not necessarily working and giving into your ego. There's a way to have all of that and still be integrated with your ego, right? So remind yourself of all the beautiful seeds that you've planted. Allow that success to come in as you're doing the work. And remember just to stay in the sunlight, stay positive. Everything that comes up will come up, and honor everything that comes up. It's not about staying positive, but positivity in the way that we want to remind you that if anything comes up for you to work with, there is a way to work in a very healing variety with your, you have the resources to work with your ego now. It doesn't have to be all doom and gloom with the working with it. We don't want you to approach it that way. This is a way for you to see, to gather all the information that you've been missing and to be excited about that. So wonderful time for you starting May 3rd. We'll go into May 8th, and we will be with you throughout the month of May, but we're just giving you a heads up at the beginning of May because this is such a powerful month. So go be you. Go enjoy, especially working with your second and third chakra too. Enjoy working with the moon. Enjoy integrating with your ego. So much love and light to you with the forgiveness process. Just feel it and move through it. You absolutely deserve to forgive yourself because, as we said before, the ego will show you that there was nothing to forgive in the first place. Stay safe and sane. Those are your messages, Pile 2. Please enjoy the first week of May. We're sending you so much love and light. Take care until we meet again. Bye-bye. Okay, beautiful Pile 3s. If you chose the butterfly of transformation, then you're definitely in the right place. We are doing your weekly update, of course, from May 3rd to May 8th, but we're also doing May themes, the rundown of May themes, just as a reminder what will be coming up for you. So we have the magic candle also too for a little extra vavum. So let's start with your themes for May. We have surrender and counselor. So you are a natural counselor and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. So as we've been, oh, I hope you can see this. The sun is coming in. I want to see. Yep, there you go. This beautiful radiance that you have behind you coming into this, and also the surrender process. Now, there's something that's going on that's come up in Pile 1 and Pile 2, and will come up in Pile 3. We'll discuss it with you now because it's part of the collective energy. Pluto has just gone, I was going to say reverse, bless. In essence it has, but it's gone retrograde. So now what we're, collectively what we can do should we want to, it's asking you to go within and look at what needs to be resolved, what needs to be brought up, but in a very specific way, in a very powerful way, and it comes in the month of May, and that is to work to integrate your ego. See your ego as the essence of you that can unlock the key for whatever it is that you need that is holding you back. Now, we talked about this in Pile 1 and Pile 2. So if you've gone in and picked Pile 1 and Pile 2, we apologize for going over this again and repeating ourselves, but the integration of the ego is definitely something that you can work on, and it's the best way to go about it, because if we try to sort of transcend the ego, you're working with your ego to dissolve your ego. That's not going to work, right? Because you're using the ego and you're still battling with it. You're going in with your sort of guard up. You're using your ego to defeat the ego, and there's no defeating it too. So, and also, as we said before, I had the reading that I did before. I can't remember which pile it was, but we talked about working with the ego, but reminding the ego that it works for you. It works for your intuition. You don't ruled by it. But this month we get to go one step further. That's not necessarily untrue, but it's only one part of what we can do and how we can heal with the ego. And it's a very preliminary sort of aspect of it too, just saying, ego, you work for me. There's still an element of the ego telling the ego that you work for me, right? But sometimes you need to do that to keep it in check until we get to this point. But May for you is very powerful because you get to this point. You get to work with the ego. You get to integrate it. So surrendering into the process of the ego can be really intimidating for a lot of people, and that's totally understandable, because what happens is the ego holds the key to a lot of what we need to heal. And again, not crazy about the word heal. It sort of insinuates that we're not already perfect, we're not already beautiful, and we're not already whole. There's part of us that's wrong and we need to do something about it. But that, for the sake of clarity, we're going to use the word healing. That's not what we mean though. But there are aspects of us that we do need to shine some light on, and we do need to sort of like just really acknowledge and integrate. That's part of the healing process. That's mainly it, and that's what you'll be able to do. So it's almost like, for some of you maybe feeling, opening up the ego could be opening up the floodgates. Don't want to feel overwhelmed. You have that in common with Pile 2. Again, totally understandable. But actually the ego is the point of trust. If you can build trust with the ego and integrate it, it can show you why it acted the way it did, why it protected you, because all it was trying to do was protect you. Even if you behaved badly or manipulation, this, that, and the other, it's only trying to get your attention, right? So this is something for you to really resolve and really open up to your true power. Now, you have a lot of experiences, Pal 3. You've been through a lot. For most of you, you've been through sort of what we would sort of, for want of a better term, hell and back. It makes you an excellent listener. It makes you an excellent counselor. You are already probably the person in the group out of your friends that people come to. You're also the aspect of the person too, where you may be judgmental for yourself, but you try not to be judgmental with other people, especially when they're being judgmental on themselves. I shouldn't have done this. You'll be the first person. Yeah, but you know, you were coming from this point of view, to the point where sometimes people might even get a little bit pissed off with you, because it's just like, let me have this, let me be bad in my let me be horrible to myself. Or if somebody is saying that somebody else has, you know, treated them a certain way, you'll try to see it from everybody else's point of view and go, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'm sorry you're feeling that way, but that person could have been acting because of this, that, and the other. So you tend to see things from everybody else's point of view, tend to be unjudgmental when other people are being unjudgmental. When people are being judgmental with themselves, you tend to come back with the opposite energy and try to provide that for them. And that's not a small thing in this world. So whether you're going into counseling as something that you can make money from, or you're a creative being that's going to help people in a sort of a creative way, anyway, you're here to be some kind of counselor. And every experience that you've had is made you realize how beautiful and fragile the human soul is. And just really the connection that you'll get. The theme for you, Pal 3, is very much how precious life is. Now, we say this all the time, and it runs through a theme in Hollywood movies, and we get it for a minute and we cry on screen. Well, not on screen, other people are on screen, but you know, we cry in front of the screen, and we get it for that moment, and something happens in our lives where we're touched by something and really get the essence that, you know, the human existence is somewhat fleeting. You know, of course, the essence of humanity and of course our inner soul, our soul is everlasting, but our experience here on this earth in this lifetime is, regardless of how long you live, it's fleeting. And you'll really get that gorgeousness, and you'll be able to slow down in these moments in May and be able to do this because you surrender to the process and get that healing. And through that healing, as you integrate and work with the ego, which definitely is a theme, a collective theme across May, you'll really be able to see the strength in what you've gone through. Now, you've gone through so much, it puts you in a position to be able to help anybody from any background. And for those of you who are feeling like, I've done so many things, I've gone off in so many different directions, and I don't feel as though I have enough to show for it, you have experience to show for it. And this is a month where that will be highlighted, and you'll be able to see how much good you're going to be able to do in this world, and how much beauty you're going to be able to bring to this world on a physical level. Now, you have an idea of it. It's not like you've not been doing that, but you'll be able to do this and see this in a really creative way, in a way that you can do this sort of large scale this month. So even if you don't fully reach into that large scale and start working on it in a practical format, you'll be able to see the energy of it coming through, and be able to really be connected to why you're physically here in this lifetime to be able to do this work. So let's see what else you have too. You have, yes, the Princess of Discs, Temperance. Absolutely, that's what we just said. Gorgeousness, slowing down, coming in, but it's nothing passive about this. This is a really beautiful sort of slowing down, but in a very powerful, mindful way of creating this power within you without having to explain it to anyone. Again, integrating the ego, nothing left to prove, nothing left to do. But surrendering to the process of saying, what do I need to know to be able to move into my full essence of power and to bring in that knowledge? Now, there is a way that you're going to be able to bring in this knowledge and experience to the world at a greater level and be rewarded for it. Now, it could be, for some of you, it could be a project that you've been working on finally gets picked up. It could be that you're offered something that's sort of slightly outside of the realm of what you thought you wanted to do, but you could see yourself doing it. It could be something brand new. It could be for some of you deciding to go back to school and get the qualifications you need to be able to be in this realm to help others. You've been sort of on the front lines before, trying to figure it out, flip-flopping backwards and forwards, but understanding that you think you want to do it, but you're not sure. For each of you, it will look slightly different, but it will be very powerful in its own way. The other thing that's going to be available for you is really deep healing on many levels. So it's a spiritual level, a physical level too, because what the ego does, obviously, it wants to try and get our attention, so it acts up, and there's different ways it comes in, but also, there's a energy that's trapped in the body. And by no means, we're not doctors, we're not whatever, we're not advocating that you do anything. Whatever you need to do, please take care of yourself, absolutely. But there's also energy that's been trapped in the body that gets a chance to really kind of to get some sunlight, to get some beauty and get released too. So some stuff could be coming up for you in the month of May, that could be moving out and through your body, and you'll get the process of being able to see it heal if it's on the external level. And if it's on the internal level, you'll feel that level of healing. As you wake up each day, you'll feel a little bit more powerful, a little bit more in your own body. And the way you can feel is because a lot of you, Pile 3, and we totally understand your pain, there's been a certain amount of trauma that's come in, and you've been in survival mode. A lot of us coming in have different levels and different types of trauma, but it's all there. This is something that you'll be working with and integrating with, and really, again, for want of a better word, healing with your ego. You can work with this in a brand new way. And what happens is, when we do that, we bring our energy back into our bodies, and we're really able to actually ground into the earth in a brand new way and actually feel powerful in our bodies. The way in which you've been working is that your power has been outside of the body. You feel grounded sometimes. But if there's a little bit of an intimidation, if something sets you off, it's not even a trigger necessarily, but it's a way to protect. Your energy sort of leaves your body, and you don't feel as grounded as you could be, not in your power all the time. This is something that's, as a theme over the month of May, is going to shift for you. All that energy being pulled back into your body, so you can really inhabit your body and really sort of move around, see who you are, becoming a little bit more flexible, in your physicality. Again, some of this old stuff coming up and being released, this old energy, and just like even allergies. Usually have really bad allergies this time of year. You won't have them. Just sort of things sort of clearing out, but really being very clear and firm in your own body, and really understanding sort of how your body feels properly and permanently for the first time. Now, when we say permanently, obviously we're having an impermanent experience in this world, but while you're in your body on this planet, then that's the permanence that we're talking about. But really utilizing all your experience and all of your beauty, really having it manifest into something much greater, and something that you'll be really happy to do. Now, soul family essence coming in the month of May too. Some opportunities to work in group situations where you can help others. Just sort of, it's all about sort of groups helping people, but also putting your energy first so you can work with your ego. Again, the image of unlocking that sort of attic door and moving in and letting your ego just divulge everything that they did, like having a conversation with it. For you, it might be a really good idea. These are only ever suggestions. Please listen to your intuition and do whatever you feel is best. But, even having a quiet meditation, just a 10-minute meditation where you talk to your ego and say, speak to me. What do you need to tell me? What do you want to show me? You're not going in with swords blasting. You're not angry at it. You're not trying to transcend it. You're not trying to defeat it. You're not trying to do all of those polarities of the good and bad. You're not labeling it as anything. If anything, you're seeing it as an ally. Just that beautiful, majestic energy of, what do you want to show me? What do I need to know? That in itself is very healing, surrendering to that process. So let's see what we have. A little extra energy for you here. That was almost a jumper, but not quite. We have here for, I guess this is the Avalon Oracle deck. So let's see what we have for you here. Wasp, anger, retaliation, and jealousy. So again, we're moving through that energy. Let's pull you back out of that. So that's some of the stuff that's come up for you in retaliation to, oh, here we go. All right. So this is before and after. We did this, I think, with pile 2, before and after with the ego. So the way in which sometimes the ego gets your attention isn't very pretty. Absolutely, totally understandable. It's trying to get your attention. So the ways in which for you it could have been trying to get your attention: anger, retaliation, and jealousy. For you, not really jealousy. It's about turning against yourself and saying, comparing yourself to others. I'm not where I need to be. I should be further on. For you specifically, pile 3, that's how it's worked for you. Anger, definitely keeping in those feelings, and they sort of boiling up at different points. And retaliation also, that's coming in many different ways where, where you're triggered by people who are just what we consider, who are not really who you consider maybe are not doing the work, and it just, don't have humanity sort of in mind when they talk, like really speaking from the ego. And of course the retaliation for you may not actually physically or mentally or even in any way retaliate, but your mind does. And that's your ego working with the retaliation with somebody. Your ego is reacting to somebody else's ego, and even though you don't physically butt heads because you might not actually retaliate to them, it's in your energy field. You're getting triggered by it. So these are some specific ways that the ego has been trying to get your attention. Now, that's not inherently bad. That's not inherently evil. It's not trying to destroy you. It's just trying to protect you. Yes, keep you in survival mode. Certainly is not really interested in moving you into thriving because it doesn't understand yet. But as you work with the integration, let me see what you need to tell me. I am surrendering into what you want to show me. This is what you have here, the raven. You have magic, coincidence, and synchronicity coming in. So once you really move in to that beautiful surrendering process, this gets transformed into this. And you've already created the aspect of the counselor part of yourself, but you, when it's transformed into this, you get to move this energy of the counselor into something more so you can help others. And this is how you will integrate back into the world on your own terms, and how you will connect into this beautiful world. Connection's not always been a great thing for you. You've had to hold yourself back out of protection. That's what your ego's been doing to protect you. But once you start working with the ego, there's no need to do that anymore. So new integration in all levels means that you get to integrate on a level of actually feeling integrated into the world and feeling connection to people, feeling connection to the world at a really, really deep level. This is a beautiful thing for you. Very, very deep connections to come in for you, for your themes for May, but again starting May 3rd to May 8th. And as we said in pile 2 and pile 3, this is energy that's been in and around you anyway. You don't wake up on May 3rd, Monday morning, 9 a.m. and all of a sudden this energy is like, boom, let's do it. I feel it now. This energy is already in and around you. This is what's accessible to you should you decide to move in this direction in May. So, but it's not new energy per se. We might be giving it, I don't know why, sorry, this is upside down. We might be giving it sort of a highlight for you and explaining it in a way that hopefully makes a little bit more sense, but it's not new energy for you in any way, shape, or form. So I want to make sure that you're getting all of this, but we want to put the raven up top here. And you know what? We already know what this is. We're not covering it up, but we're surrounding it with the surrender card. So we don't need to go over the old. We just don't. You already know it. They know it. You know it. Your ego knows it. This is not about going round in loops anymore. So let's get you a little bit more energy from the unicorn magical realm. Extra energy. We got our unicorn here today. So let's see what we have here. Ignite. Opportunities flowing in. Absolutely. This is just recognition of what we said. The opportunities are coming in. It's not that you don't have opportunities. You've had opportunities before, but these are opportunities that you will be really excited about. People often want to work with you or be in and around your energy because you have that essence of being a great listener. And again, that non-judgmental self. Although you do judge yourself quite a bit. You've been quite hard on yourself, but that's another thing you'll be working on with your ego. And that's a human thing. We all do that. We all do that. I always say that, well, other people have said it too. By no means this is brand new. But when you catch yourself in negative talk, and this really applies to you, Pal 3, would you talk to somebody else like that? If somebody came to you with that problem and they were, explaining it, would you be like, well, you wouldn't. You would be pointing out and don't be so hard on yourself. So when you find yourself being like that to yourself, imagine that you're speaking this to somebody else. What would you say to somebody else? Somebody else came to you with this, because we promise you it will be very, very different. So, but the opportunities, if people do want to be in and around you, there are opportunities in and around you. But these are opportunities coming in the month of May that you actually want to work on. Those opportunities that come in and around you may not quite be for you. It's maybe an opportunity for them to work with you, which is wonderful. Again, this is not an ego thing. Oh, I don't want to work with you. You're not there yet. But no, it has to be reciprocal. And these energies that are coming in, more often than not, aren't necessarily reciprocal. You don't necessarily want to take your energy in that direction, but you totally appreciate people, giving you those opportunities, very much so. But these opportunities coming in May, something that will require you leveling up. So they might be a little bit intimidating, but we want you to look at them anyway. We want you to really choose again from your meditative heart, from your intuition. Your intuition will tell you if it's the right, the right opportunity coming in for you, if this is something you can benefit from. But yeah, these opportunities coming in for you will be at a different level. They'll be really exciting for you. You're definitely ready for them. Remember to stay in that moment, work with your intuition, leveled up, integrated with your ego. So absolutely. See what else we have for you. Invention, brilliant new ideas. Absolutely, that's what we said too. Coming into this new way of working with your energy, brand new ideas coming in, because you're expansive, you're working differently with your energy. So even these ideas that you had before that could have been brilliant, you've already had them, but you didn't know how to implement them. Brand new opportunities for this to come in May. And this will look very different for each and every one of you, because obviously this is not a personal reading, a private reading. This is a general reading, obviously. So it will look different, but each one of you, if you're resonating with this, should know what you're working on and have an inkling of what it could be. So if there are surprises this month, they will be healthy, wonderful surprises. Again, into this really meditative space for you, even quietening down, slowing down. But by proxy, it's sort of, or not even by proxy, but the ironic thing is, as you slow down and surrender in, everything sort of starts happening sort of really quickly and snowballing. So remember you're ready. And remember to work with your ego. You could see the key, the image of the key opening up. The door. Choose to do that meditation should you want to, with the 10 minutes where you just sit with your ego and say, I am ready, I'm coming with you. What do you need to show me? What would you like to show me in this meditation? You would be surprised. Be surprised by letting it in. Full integration here. So C melodies, last one here, just get you one more last little message before we finish up this reading. The ocean, be beautiful, mysterious, wild, and free. Absolutely. This is your chance to do this. You have an element of this. A lot of you are actually attracted to the water and the vastness of the sea, even if it does frighten you a little bit, which is totally understandable. And you do have this mysterious, gorgeous quality to you. Some of you dumb it down a little bit because you've never really, if you feel comfortable, you don't mind being noticed. But this is, and you're by no means a sort of person that people don't notice. Far from it. But in the past, people have usually noticed you for different things that they can get for you. So this is part of the protection mechanism too. As you work with your ego again and integrate it, your power comes back in full force, which is absolutely gorgeous. So be bold, be beautiful, and really allow in that mystery, wild and free, and see where it goes. Again, like Paul too, I think, try on all these opportunities coming in. If you don't feel it's the right time to physically move and grab one of them, that's totally fine. That's not necessarily what you're being asked to do, but to really stay in your power, stay in that quiet moment, which is extremely powerful, and just allow in everything that you are. Let it radiate out and see what comes back to you. Very powerful month for you to integrate all aspects of yourself that were not necessarily lost, but were being hidden because they were trying to be protected by the ego. It's a wonderful time for you to work with your ego, shift in perspective this way. Don't forget to do the 10-minute meditation should you feel that you want to. And moving from, you know, the darker side maybe of the ego, and moving into the magic, coincidence, synchronicity, coming in with the event, the brilliant new ideas and invention, new opportunities coming in, the wild and free, the mysterious, all of these cards backing up what we're saying. And of course, don't forget, you chose the butterfly, the ultimate, the ultimate icon of transformation. This is you and what's available for you this month. So hold tight. This is going to be a great month for you, but not overwhelming. Again, small incremental energies, but at the same time extremely powerful. Not a passive month by any stretch of the imagination, so don't think it will be. Excuse me. Ooh, that was not quite a sneeze. Anyway, we're sending you so much love and light. Please enjoy, especially the first week, but also we'll be here for the rest of May to support you in any way we can. But so much love and light to you. You're going to have such a great week. Please, please, please remember to stay in your own power. Remember how beautiful you are at all costs. Stay safe and sane until we meet again, Pile 3. Take care. Bye-bye.